Tafsir.
Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end? Pursuing the higher aim, learning the meaning of every page. Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end?
Assalamu alaikum. Sunnahfollowers presents a new class, the Muqasid of Tafsir, being taught and brought to you by Ustada lailanasheeba. Please stay tuned. Streaming on all major platforms, right here on channel Sunnahfollowers. Assalamu alaikum. Get to know your Lord. First part of the Right Belief series by Sheikh Karim Abu Zaid. This dynamic literary work of art's main goal is to revive an understanding the names and attributes of Allah. And understanding the name and attributes of Allah will elevate our faith, strengthen us, and keep us steadfast. This wonderful book is now available in an audiobook format and can be found free of charge on YouTube, channel Karim Abu Zaid. Get to know your Lord. You have nothing to lose.
You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah by your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through.
Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I want to welcome everybody to our class entitled Get to Know Allah. Subhanallah. Well, it's not Get to Know Allah. This is the right belief system that helps to teach you how to get to know Allah. And by getting to know Allah, you get to understand what your purpose is in life. Because getting to know Allah entails getting to know, learning why he created you, what he created you to do. And as every Muslim listening to me should know, all of us, we were all created with one purpose in mind, just one, not two, one purpose. And that purpose is to worship Allah and to worship him alone. And every day of our life is going to be spent proving that we do believe in Allah and that he is the only one, the only entity worthy of worship. And how do we prove that? We prove that in the choices that we make each day. I want to share something with you guys, and I don't want you guys to get this twisted. Hashtag. Y'all know what that means? When I do the hashtag, that means I'm going to make a short about this and put it out tonight. Hashtag don't get it twisted. Something that a lot of Muslims don't understand, because they don't understand the concept of al-wala wal-bara. Al-wala wal-bara. Al-wala wal-bara. This is allegiance and disassociation. And by the way, for those of you who have not yet purchased the book, I have the wrong ticker up. I thought I put the right one. Didn't. Here it is. For those of you who have not yet purchased the book, you want to go to Amazon, The book is only $19.99. Okay, Diluting Wala Wel Bara with volume 2 by Sheikh Karim Abu Zaid. Not just for the Western Muslims, but even the Arabic-speaking Muslims. We fail to understand that our allegiance, when we declare La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, we are declaring that our allegiance is only to Allah and to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and to the religion of Islam and the Muslims. We don't have allegiance to non-Muslims. That's why Allah said that a non-Muslim can never be a ruler or a leader over us. That's why as Muslims living in the West, it is haram. I repeat, it is haram. I repeat again, it is haram for you to vote for presidents who are not Muslims, because our allegiance is not to them. As Allah says in the Quran, they will never accept you. You will never be a part of them. They will come together and try to, even if they are enemies to each other, they will come together to try to destroy us. And this is why, even as a Muslim woman, our guardian, if your father is not a Muslim, he cannot be your guardian, because the non-Muslims cannot make decisions for us, because their lifestyle is not like ours. Their belief is not like ours. Their lifestyle contradicts ours. We respect the laws of the land, but we do not throw away our laws and replace them with theirs. Okay? We honor the 10 commandments. We don't steal. We don't cheat. We don't adulterate. We don't lie. We don't fornicate. We don't do any of that. We guard our neighbors. Okay, but I am not going to put you in office because you're not going to represent me. I don't care what, because you don't believe what I believe. So to you be your way and to me be mine. We do not vote in elections. The Prophet Muhammad was clear. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and what's the source? Sahih Muslim. The Prophet said a non-Muslim can never be a ruler or a leader over us. Our laws are for us. Their laws are for them. That's clear. And like I said, even a lot of the Arabic-speaking people don't understand this. But how many of you understand this too? We're not even supposed to go around praising and glorifying or giving titles of honor to non-Muslims. Did you guys know that? We got many hadiths where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught the companions that. One day he was with his companions and they were praising and glorifying a non-Muslim poet, something about what he wrote, and they were saying, oh, he's so intelligent, he's so wise, he is so smart for him to put these words together. Oh, he's so great. They were giving this non-Muslim titles of honor, and the Prophet got angry. He said, wait a minute. He said, we don't refer to non-believers with titles of honor, praising them, glorifying them on that level. He said, whoever does this brings about the wrath of Allah upon yourself. He said, because if they were so intelligent, if they were deserving of those titles you're giving him, he would believe La ilaha illallah. The simple fact that he doesn't believe La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, is proof that he's not deserving of the titles y'all giving him. That hadith is authentic. What's the source? That's in the Sahih hadith. And also we have in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, the hadith of Ibn Umar, where Ibn Umar had to remind the people Allah sent down the verses of the Quran telling us that before Islam we were not honored. Allah honored us. Allah honored us with Islam. This is the Quran. Allah said he honored us with Islam, when before Islam we were dishonored. How can you give titles of honor and respect to non-Muslims when they don't even believe in Allah? We respect people. We treat people nicely. But remember, we have to implement Bara. Bara. Distance. I respect the fact that you are a good supervisor. Now, that's not honoring. That's just speaking the truth. I have a supervisor at my job, let's say, and she's a good supervisor. She knows her job well. She delegates her authority well. And she seems to be just. And she's a good listener. She's fair. So she's a good supervisor. I can compliment a person. I can give words of a compliment, of appreciation. But I am not going to sit there because she's a good supervisor and say she's a great woman and put her say that she's a role model for me and all of that. If she was so great, she would believe La ilaha illallah. This is bringing about the anger of Allah. Do you sisters understand what I'm saying? If she was all that great, why doesn't she submit to Islam? So that's what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying in these hadiths, and there's many more, Bukhari and Muslim. Don't overdo it. Don't give titles of grandeur, titles of honor, titles of great esteem and great respect to people who don't believe in Allah, because doing that, you insult Allah. We're supposed to do things that will bring about the pleasure of Allah, not do things that would make him angry and insult him. Allah gives knowledge to whomever he wills. Allah willed that the non-believers, some of them will be intelligent technology-wise. That's Allah's decree. That's his will, that even though people won't believe in him, some of them he will raise amongst others with intelligence. Intelligence of this dunya, because this world is the paradise for the non-Muslim. This is their paradise. And out of Allah's mercy, he tells us that if even though the people may not believe in him, if they are a good person, he will give them the good of this world. He will cause them to live a good life here. But once they die, it's a different thing. Nothing but the hellfire. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Am I explaining these hadiths? So, if a non-Muslim does something like the man who discovered the first open heart surgery, for those of you who don't know, the first open heart surgery done in a hospital here in America was performed by an African-American man. I forgot his name, but he was African-American. He conducted the first open heart surgery. That's a good thing. He's smart. That's a good thing. The traffic lights. How many of you knew this? The traffic lights that are used all around the world was invented by an African-American man who lived right here where I live in Cleveland. How many of you knew that? That's good trivia. The traffic lights that go red, green, and yellow, those traffic lights were invented by an African-American man from Cleveland, Ohio. Allah gives knowledge of technology to whomever he wills, okay? But because this man invented the traffic light, because this man performed the first open heart surgery in the West, okay? Do I now say, oh, he's such a great man. He's one of the most intelligent, greatest men on earth? No. Because they didn't believe la ilaha illallah. We have to know when to distance ourselves. We have to know that Islam is about balance. And that's what this whole class is about. Balancing my allegiance, balancing my disassociation. Oh, yes, I can appreciate what you've done, but I'm not going to put you up on no level and tell you that you somebody great. That's why there's another hadith. What's the source? This hadith is a Nasai, and it's also authentic. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told some companions, do not refer, don't give non-believers titles of respect such as calling them sir, calling them master, because they're not deserving of that type of patronage, because they don't believe in Allah. If you refer to a non-believer with titles of patronage like that, you invoke the anger of Allah on yourself. That hadith is authentic, and that's what it means. Why would I refer to someone? Let me give an example. I ain't talking about the man that built the traffic light. I'm talking now about a man like Darwin. Who was Darwin? Darwin was a kafir, pagan. He didn't believe in Allah. He believed in the evolution of man. His belief system totally contradicts Allah. Why would I refer to Darwin as being a great scholar? That's an example of that hadith. I would never refer to Darwin as being a great scholar because his thinking totally contradicts what Allah says. It would anger Allah to hear me refer to a kafir, atheist, pagan as being a great thinker or a great scholar when his thoughts deny Allah. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? People in my Zoom room, do y'all understand? I would never refer to an atheist, never refer to a man who believes God don't exist with the title of a great thinker. Darwin was not a great thinker. Why would I refer to Sigmund Freud? Sigmund Freud as being a great thinker. This man was corrupt in his thinking. He was incestuous in his thinking. He was homosexual in his thinking, just like Darwin was. Aristotle, I would never refer to Aristotle as being a great scholar of the world. Aristotle was a homosexual, incestuous. He did bestiality. Oh yeah, they even had relations with animals. That's what that hadith is talking about. Never give titles of honor and respect to people who deny Allah, don't believe in Allah, because you are in bringing about the curse of Allah on you. I hear a lot of Muslims, I'm talking Arabs. These are my Arab brothers and sisters, because the Arabs You know, they forgot Islam a long time ago. You know, I'm sorry. You know, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said Islam will begin in the East. It'll also disappear from it, and it'll rise in the West. You know, so a lot of the Arabs forgot the basics. A lot of the Arabs have forgotten what al-wala wal-bara is. And they go to school and they get degrees in philosophy. They get degrees in psychology. They get degrees in logic. And these people patronize Darwin. They patronize Aristotle. They patronize Sigmund Freud and his philosophy on this. And they refer to these atheist men as being great thinkers and great scholars. Well, every time they do it, they put the curse of Allah on themselves. There's nothing great about a man who thinks that the human evolved from a pig or an ape. There is nothing great about a man that believes it's okay to have sexual relations with a camel. There's nothing great about a man who believes it's okay for a father to have relations with its own daughter. What's great about them? So that's the meaning of that. We don't take terms of honor such as greatness and all of that and give it to a non-believer. Just like we don't vote for them either in their elections. And you Muslims in America, y'all better wake up. You're committing a big sin participating in American voting elections for presidency. If you believe that there's ever going to be a non-Muslim Zionist president who's going to have the interests of the Muslim world at heart, you're deluded, because America's a Zionist country, which is against religion anyway. And anyone that's running for it who's not Muslim would be that. Unless there were a Muslim man running for president. None of you people in America who claim to believe la ilaha illallah should vote for anything because Allah said it. Where's my dalil? Allah says it. They will never have your best interests at heart. And also the Prophet said it. A non-Muslim could never, ever be a ruler over any of us. Stop calling kafirs great men. Stop referring to unbelievers as being great men and women. And learn what al-wala wal-bara is and distance yourself and balance it out like we're supposed to be. This person invented the cure for penicillin. But did he come up with it on his own? Allah did. Allah tells us in the Quran, for every sickness, it comes from him. But I never send a sickness without sending a treatment. And Allah will send that knowledge to whoever he wants. The cure came from Allah. The treatment came from Allah. That man was just the tool Allah used. But am I going to call him a great tool of Allah? No, because he doesn't even believe in Allah. Do you people get it? Do you people get it? And I don't want none of you people, if you got, this is clear. You have to have common sense. If you guys don't have common sense, I can't help you. Because I'm just going to be truthful. A lot of the human beings today don't have common sense because of all the inbreeding. Oh yeah, we've got a lot of inbreeding that's been going on for centuries. Incestuous stuff too. Plus the food we eat, the drugs we take. has messed us up mentally. So a lot of us don't have common sense. That's another one of the signs of the last hour. People just won't have common sense, especially our nation. The Prophet Muhammad said, our nation. We don't have the intelligence of the Christians. That's another one of the reasons why they'll have the upper hand over us. We're feeble-minded. We are a feeble-minded nation. So if you don't have common sense and can't figure this out, I can't help you. But I think I've broken it down. You know, titles of honor, titles of grandeur, we do not give to human beings who do not believe in Allah. Anyone who does that has brought the anger of Allah on him. That I can't make that no clearer. I can say that this person was smart, but I cannot refer to him as being a great smart person. Great turns it into a title of honor. I can say, she's fair. But I can't say she's the most fairest, greatest person I've ever heard, because now I've given her a title of honor. Y'all understand? For the Arabs back in the 6th century, to use what translates into English to mean sir or master. Remember, in the 6th century, people owned people. The slave referred to his or her owner as master because they were owners over them. And that's where the English word sir and Mr. comes from. English, Mr. means master. Sir means master. Because even in America's history, they had slaves, and your owner you referred to as master. You referred to as sir. And that's why, too, in African American culture, you're not going to find too many African Americans using that name, sir. That sir is usually something that you other people use. Because African Americans know what sir means. They know that sir is the master's name. So African Americans don't use that terminology unless it's beaten down into them in the South. I live in the North. You don't hear no people in the North calling people sir. But if you go to some parts like Texas, Florida, the Deep South, South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, the Jim Crow states of America, you may still hear African Americans, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, sir, because it's just beaten down and embedded in them. Okay, but here where I live up north, I don't know anybody that use that terminology. You don't call nobody no sir. Even on my job, I didn't call my boss no sir or no ma'am. We don't do that talk up here in the north. We don't do that. Okay? But so that's what that hadith is speaking about. Titles of honor. We don't do that to no non-Muslim. Because if they were deserving of it, they wouldn't have been a non-Muslim. Am I clear? Is that clear to everybody? Hello, is anybody listening to me in that Zoom room?
Yes. Can you hear me? I said yes.
Okay, was that A-Y?
Yes.
Okay, what about the rest of them airheads in there? I got airheads here in my website. Y'all can tell they airheads because they ain't talking. Who else is in there? Oh, Geechee. Geechee ain't no airhead. But did I explain it, Geechee?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so I hope that clears that up. And all of those hadiths are authentic. All of them can be found in Bukhari and Muslim. Also, the verses of the Quran, the 3 verses in the Quran are in the Quran. And then we have the Nasai hadith. okay, which is based on the Bukhari and Muslim. Hello. Layla's all about the bass. No treble. Yeah, I got some treble too, though. All right, so don't get it twisted. That'll be my short. All right, so I don't want to hear none of my students referring to Darwin and Sigmund Freud and none of those kafir atheist beasts, because that's what they were. They were animals. I bet not ever, and I'm listening, I mean this, when we doing our discussions in the Quran class with Dr. Asim, and we're breaking down evolution theories and all that stuff, Dr. Asim's trying to show you guys how man is corrupt, how man thinks that he's Allah. Darwin and his stupid theories, Sigmund Freud and his beliefs. I bet not ever hear any of my students patronize Darwin, patronize Freud, any of them atheists. I don't want to hear you patronize Homer. I don't want to hear you patronize the Iliad. Oh, yeah. Simple Arabs are doing that. You better not patronize the Iliad and Homer and Aristotle, these homosexuals. I better not hear any of you patronize Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great was a homosexual. Hello. And a beast, and he dealt with bestiality. Don't patronize these women, these kafir men. Y'all understand? Especially because all of them, their beliefs totally contradict what Allah says. They're examples of what not to be. The type of thinker, the type of scholar not to be. That's what they're examples of. All right. So that's what I'm going to be speaking about today. It's all about knowing, guys, where to draw the line, because wala wal bara, the concept of el wala wal bara, that's the way it's really pronounced. I try to pronounce it the English way so y'all understand. So if you hear people saying wala wal bara, that's el wala wal bara, okay? Allegiance and disassociation. The concept of allegiance and disassociation is nothing other than enjoining good and forbidding evil. But again, we have to strike the balance. Okay, and let's put the PowerPoint. I'm going to put the PowerPoint up on the screen for tonight's discussion. And by the way, I'm covering pages 411 to 413. And let me, yeah, I'll take it down and show it to you. Yeah, hold on. Oh, you bought the book? Okay, Sister Alicia. That's your name, Alicia? Mashallah. Mashallah. Sister Alicia, she said she just got her book from Amazon yesterday. She said it's really nice. Yes, I told you. Ain't nothing like owning the books. The book is over 500 pages. I'm telling you, I love these books. Yeah. Yeah, get the other one. Get the other two, too. Get all three of them if you can, because I'm going to go back to teaching the first book after I finish this class. So we're going to review them all again. Yeah. So go ahead and get them all. Yeah, they're all $19.99. Yeah, she said they're all $19.99. Good. Okay, so let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen. Give me a second. Yeah, I got airheads. She laughed when you got airheads. I got a bunch of airheads in here. Y'all can tell they airheads because they ain't answering the question. That means they ain't listening to me. That's why I call them airheads. They ain't listening to me. And then they'll come and ask me a question tomorrow about what I talked about today. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do that. Okay, hold on. Here's the PowerPoint. Okay, inshallah, you can see that. Okay, so this is what we're going to be speaking about today. And I do have a little quiz too. Okay, so tonight we're going to be covering pages 411 through 413. And I'm going to speak about how when we implement wala wal bara, or allegiance and disassociation, what we're basically doing is also enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. And even though we're living in a non-Islamic country, a non-Islamic environment, we still must maintain what is good and just and clean, and distance ourselves from what is dirty, unjust, and bad. And the hadith of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, everyone should know he was one of the eminent companions. In fact, he's responsible for narrating so many of those hadiths. He's one of the four most narrators, the four who narrated the most. Him, Aisha, radiallahu anha, and Ibn Abbas. Okay, he's one of those four top narrators. And he's the one that narrated this hadith for us. He said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever amongst you sees an evil, let him change it with his hand. And if he cannot change it with his hand, then with his tongue. And if he cannot do that, then at least with his heart, which is the weakest level. This is a hadith we hear about all the time. It's narrated by Sa'id al-Khudri. And what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is letting us know, that it's an obligation upon all of us as Muslims, that if we see something bad happening, we have to try to stop it. If we can stop it physically, then do so. But if we can't stop it physically, then speak out against it. And if we can't do that, then at least hate it in your heart. And I like what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. Look at the wording, even if you read the Arabic, change it with your tongue. He didn't say change it by protesting with signs. How many of you caught that part of this hadith? Did the Prophet say change it with signs by protesting? No. He said change it with the tongue. And what does that mean? Speak out. You can speak out against something with your verbally, or you can speak out by writing. He didn't mention nothing about protesting. And if you do the history look, they protested in the 6th century. The Romans were big on protesting. Even the Arabs protested. They would protest by going to the Kaaba. Did the Prophet tell us that if we see something bad to do like the Kafirs and protest? No. He said stop it physically if you can. And if you can't stop it physically, then speak out against it. And if you can't speak out against it, at least make dua. That's what changing in your heart means. At least call upon Allah and ask Allah to change it. Protesting with signs and marching like that, this is rejecting the qadr of Allah, guys. We don't protest that way as Muslims. The way we protest is verbally and by writing. We do not protest against Allah's decree like you see Muslims doing about Gaza with signs and all of that. That's transgressing. That's another example as to how we transgress the limits. Allah gave us the methodology here. The methodology is physically, with your hand. Physically, he said, with your hand. Verbally, with the tongue. And then with the heart, which is supplication. Allah makes no mistakes. Because Allah knew the day would come when we Muslims would imitate the Kafirs in everything they do, to the point of picking up a sign, marching, intermingling, screaming, hollering, cursing, fighting against his decree. Allah knew we would do that. So that's why Allah gave the perfect words here. Okay? So that's the methodology that we're supposed to implement as Muslims living in a non-Muslim environment. a non-Muslim society. We stand up for justice. We stand up for what is right and good, even if it's against ourselves. We speak out against evil. We don't support evil, even if it's against ourselves. Okay? So this hadith suggests that when we see something wrong, the first thing we should do is try to correct the wrong within ourselves. But before we do that, think about what will happen as a result. And this is basically what the prophet was telling us too. When the prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam spoke about, for example, the signs of the last hour, he said, if you live to see these things happen, the people asked him, what should we do? If I live to see Allah send war upon the Muslims, if I live to see Muslims dying, children dying, what should I do? The prophet said, correct the wrong within yourself. He said, and how do you correct that? By falling back upon la ilaha illallah. In other words, check yourself. What have I done to cause Allah to send this war? How have I deviated away from implementing Islam in my life? Have I picked and chosen what parts of this religion to accept, what parts to reject? For example, adoption. Allah is clear. Under no circumstances can a Muslim adopt a child. Under no circumstances. But we got Muslims today who trying to say that they can when they don't even understand the language. There's a difference between sponsorship and adoption. The Arabs would sponsor children. What does it mean to sponsor? It doesn't mean my name. Sponsor to provide food, to provide clothing, to provide shelter. We can provide food, clothing, and shelter and support to a child. But I cannot take that child, bring them into my home, and refer to this child as being mine, and having that child think that my family is his family. That's what adoption is. Adoption is haram. So don't play the game. Don't play the English game, because the hadiths are revealed in Arabic. Arabic is a language totally different from English. One Arabic word can mean 100 things, just like the word kohol. Kohol means makeup. Henna. Henna means makeup in English too. Kohol also means antimony, medicine. Don't play that game. Okay? Don't try to commit sin because you twisting the hadiths around. We cannot adopt any child under no circumstances. The prophet said this is the worst sin that you can do. He said anyone who adopts a child and tries to pass that child off as being of him will never enter paradise. That's also a sin of disbelief. Did y'all know that? Adoption is also a sin of disbelief. So y'all better be careful playing with these hadiths when you don't speak Arabic. And how do I know the meaning of them? Because my teachers are scholars of Arabic. And they gave me the meaning of them the correct way. Because I was like a lot of you all, reading them in English and giving my own opinion. I got checked by Allah. And I'm checking you all. Okay? So, we have to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, you know, when we see bad things going on around us, what can I do to correct myself because I am a cause of this. Or am I a cause of this? I may not be, but I have to do a lot of self-evaluation. And then we have to think about, will my actions help? Or will my actions make things worse? Okay, I checked myself. Okay, I'm doing okay. You know, I'm living by the laws of Allah. I'm not misinterpreting this religion. I ask the people of knowledge when I'm confused. I'm fulfilling my obligations to Allah and to the people. But now if I dip in to try to help change the situation, am I going to make it better or am I going to make it worse? If I pick up this sign and join in with all the men and women that are bumping it and marching and screaming and hollering and tearing up buildings about the war, knowing that the man has no power, war comes from Allah. It don't come from man. Am I helping or am I making it worse? I'm making it worse because I'm rejecting that Allah is the one in charge. So protesting ain't the way. So what's another way I can do to make it better? I'll speak out against it. I'll get on my website. I'll do lectures about it. I'll do lectures showing how we are people of compassion, how we are people of empathy, whereas the Zionists are not. I'll do lectures showing how they refer to us as being barbarian. They refer to us as being terrorists, but look at what they're doing. They're killing people. We can speak out against it. Okay? And this is dawah. Enjoining the good and forbidding the evil all falls in the category of giving dawah. Inviting the people to understand our way of life. Inviting the people to understand that even though we're different, we're just. Because I'm different doesn't make me a terrorist. Because I'm different, it just means that my ideology is not the same as yours. But my ideology is not harmful to you. Okay? This hadith is telling us that we're going to have to sit down and talk to people, especially living in a non-Muslim environment. When we see what's going on in the world around us, we have to take a look at ourselves and ask ourselves, how can I make a change? I want to make sure that my choices in life, my lifestyle is in sync with how Allah said it should be. That I'm not just a Muslim in name, that I'm a Muslim in practice as well. And we have to be aware that everyone is different. There's cultural differences. You got people who are Christian, people who are Jewish, people who are atheists, people who are homosexual, people who are bisexual, people who are trisexual, people into bestiality. So we have to be careful about the cultural differences when we're explaining ourselves to others. I'm not going to sugarcoat and tell you that I believe in LGBTQ. I don't believe in that nonsense. That nonsense contradicts every religious belief. But I will let you know that to you be your way and to me be mine. If that's what you want to do, that's your business. Just don't bring it around me. I'm not going to force my ideas on you, and I'm not going to allow you to force yours on me. Just like you have the right to be LGBTQ, I have the right to be Muslim. So don't try to make me take a pronoun. I don't have to. You're now violating my civil right. I have the right to declare myself to be a female. You cannot make me take a pronoun such as her or she or he. You're going to refer to me as lailanasheeba, a female. That's my right. I respect your right. I respect your way, but you better respect mine too. That's what we learn from these hadiths. And we have to sit down with the people and talk to them, explain that to them. And that's like yesterday, I talked about how it's important It's important for us to know the laws of the land. A lot of you Muslims who come to America, y'all need to learn American laws. We have civil rights here. You know, everybody has rights, including Muslims. Learn what your civil rights are. Can't nobody force you to assign yourself a pronoun, just like no one can force you to be put into a racial group. I was born in America and I've never assigned myself to anything but other. I've always put other on every thing. Okay? That's my right. I don't want to be categorized. Okay, so this is all considered dawah, okay? Showing others that whatever misconceptions they may have about us are strictly that, misconceptions, because we are people who stand up for that which is good and clean, okay? And we are against anything that's bad and dirty. But before we take any approach, we have to ask ourselves, is the approach I'm going to take going to make a difference? Is it going to cause more harm or is it going to cause more good? Those people that was protesting, you know, those Muslims that put out this so-called boycott list, it's a joke. That boycott list needs to be burned because 95% of the companies on that list ain't got nothing to do with Israel. Because can't nobody send no money to Israel and America anyway, unless you go through the federal government and go through a lot of red tape. Learn civics. Learn the laws of your land, and how putting out that boycott list, you people have caused more harm than good. You've heard a lot of Muslim-owned stores, a lot of Starbucks, a lot of McDonald's, a lot of Nike shoe shops, makeup stands are owned by Muslims because these are franchises, and y'all don't know what a franchise is. So think about what could go wrong, especially if you're thinking of physically stepping up to change something. So dawah can be a strong alternative to not only informing the people around you as to what your way of life consists of, but also becomes a good alternative in changing things to make them better. But you have to find a common ground. You have to know how to speak. You have to know the lawful from the unlawful. You have to know how to listen to other people's points of views. You need to understand that people come from different cultures, different social backgrounds. And you have to also create a space where everyone can speak openly. And as we talked about in my other series on enjoining good, that means you have to have certain characteristics too. You have to be a person that's knowledgeable of your deen. You have to be a person of compassion. You have to be a person of empathy. You have to be a person that is strong, that can handle the backlash. And you have to be a person that's patient. So, enjoining good and forbidding evil. This is one of the branches of al-wala wal-bara. As Muslims, we don't support anything that contradicts our allegiance to Allah, allegiance to the Prophet, allegiance to the religion. I cannot sit here and tell you that Einstein and Darwin and Sigmund Freud were great scholars and great thinkers. I can't tell you no lie like that, because this is in total contradiction to what Allah said, what the Prophet said. Subhanallah, there's no evolution theory from an ape. There's no Big Bang theory. There's no incestuous, the child is always wanting to be on its mother's breast. Where did the law say that crap? So we have to learn how to distance ourselves. Know when to hold and know when to fold. So now I'm going to give you a quiz. One question. Your Islamic community offers no classes or activities for the Muslims, but they have a food drive once a month that they do with the neighborhood churches. And once a week, they allow tours of the mosque for non-Muslims. They allow the non-Muslims to come once a week to tour the mosque and ask questions. They also have a pantry, a food drive, but you want them to include activities for the Muslims in your area. So how would you approach this situation? How would you suggest classes and activities? In other words, how would you go about enjoining the good, forbidding the evil, based on el wala wal bara? Who would like to answer that? Let's hear it. Come on, people, get on the mic. Keep telling y'all.
I wanted to add this to this. Being that, being a Muslim, and that's part of my community, and I'm seeing that they're doing food drives once a month and what activities, I would try to offer my assistance in that because number one, I want to have a relationship and show them that I am committed in this.
Well, how do you approach it? Answer the question. So that's the question.
That's what I said I have to offer my services, like offer my volunteer work to be able to show my community, to show what I can do, to make alliances with the people there that they could see that I am dependable. That's the first, so that I could show them, hey, ease into it, and then give my ideas that, hey, you got me here volunteering, now take an ear. We as a community, as a masjid, we should be implementing this because our allegiance is to Islam. We should be pulling in more Muslims, more services for the Muslims here. I see that we are providing services for the churches, the non-believers. How about we put more energy and effort into Islam and incorporating classes and having stuff for the Muslims here first? So that's just how I would approach it.
That's good. So you'll go to the people of authority and you would volunteer. You would bring the question up and
exactly. They'll see that I'm doing stuff, so they'll see that they'll have no choice but to hear me because they see me there doing something as opposed to just talking.
What are you doing?
What do you mean? Like,
you're volunteering yourself. Okay,
yeah. Just to volunteer because a lot of people talk, but they don't give no action.
Exactly.
So that's what I would do.
Mashallah, that's good, Geechee. Good job. She would volunteer her services. She would say, can we come up with some classes and activities for Muslims? And I'll be willing to put myself out there to help make it happen. Good job, Geechee. Anyone else? How would you approach this situation? Anyone else? Tony? Precious? Or is any of y'all in here? It's just Geechee? All these people in my Zoom room. And only Geechee. Okay, hold on. Let me take this down. I'm going to show everybody who y'all are. Hold on. Okay, hold on, people on Zoom. Let me come on here. I'm getting ready to show y'all all these people in here. This is why I tell y'all I be having airheads in here. Hello.
I'm just trying to put my words together, but Geechee did steal some of the things that I was about to say. Can you put the question back because I need to read it?
See?
No, because I need to put my words together.
Okay, the question is. Okay, the question is: your masjid has no activities in place for the Muslims, but they got events for the non-Muslims. So how would you go about suggesting to your community that they need to put together some classes or events that get geared towards the Muslims? How would you approach that? Anyone?
Like what Geechee said. Okay. I would say that I would push them and said, what you're doing for the non-Muslim is good. However, it would be nice. Am I freezing? No. Okay. However, it would be nice if they do something for the Muslim too, like having some classes and activities.
Okay, here's an answer from, thank you, Awa. Awa's got a baby, plus she's trying to keep the hackers out. Let me read Miss Jackson. Miss Jackson said, what would she do? She would go approach the imam, and she would ask the imam if he could start a class. Can he get, or if the imam will get together a group of sisters and make it our, oh, look at this. Wait a minute. I like this answer. She said she would first of all approach the imam and ask the imam if he could get a class that started, whereas he can teach about El Wala wa Bara once a week. Okay. And then she'll also suggest perhaps we can, imam, is it a good idea that we get a sisterhood committee together, whereas we sisters can check on the single and divorced women in the community and the elderly women in the community. So and I will be a part of that. So she said the same thing Geechee said, but the only difference is Geechee didn't say what. She's saying, come go to the imam, approach him with suggestions, and not just give him the ideas of things he can do, but also volunteer that you will be in charge of making sure it gets done. Good job, Miss Jackson. And exactly.
I'm sorry.
That's a good one.
Just to add to that, it is important because we all have strengths and weaknesses. Like we could all have, be in different, have different roles, different jobs or whatnot, like professionally, and we could all powwow with our ideas as far as what we can implement into the masjid that could help within the masjid. That's another thing that we wanted to add to that, that's a good way of bringing it about. Because sometimes the imam is swamped, he got a lot of things, but that's why a committee, that's a good idea to bring the committee forward so that the powwow people can come together and like they could delegate what else the community needs,
Okay, but that, I like that. But like sister, getting a committee together is hard. I like Jackson's better. I'm going to tell you what, I'm giving you the idea. We need better classes.
Yes.
Or we need some hadith classes. We ain't got to powwow it. Religion is based on Tawheed. Can you do some Tawheed classes once a week? Can we do Surat al-Rasul, some Seerah classes on the weekend? And I'm volunteering myself that I'll be able to help participate. I'll make sure that I call the women up, get the sisters to bring the kids here at a certain time. I'll organize that. You got to bring the ideas to them. Because if you don't bring the ideas to them, ain't nobody going to do nothing. They too busy or don't want to be bothered. So good answers. I like y'all's answers. Good job. Any other questions or comments? Brother Omar, are you still in here? Brother Omar, is he still here? If you're here, type on the screen. If you're not here, I'm going to pass it off. Ooh. Yeah. Okay, also, guys, before we close out, let me remind everybody, this is the going into the middle of the month. We need donations to cover our website expenses, guys. We don't want to end up back in the hole because we spent $400 getting out of the hole when that $400 could have covered these expenses. Please support this dawah effort, guys. You can scan the QR code at the top. You can Cash App to Sunnahfollowers, or you can Zelle. Zelle is the best way to go. Zelle to Layla at Sunnahfollowers.net, because Zelle goes directly in your account and they don't take no money out. Or you can use a credit card and go to PayPal. PayPal me /Sunnahfollowers. Remember, we are a nonprofit organization, and all your money goes to help to keep this website running. Sister Jamila said I would go to their meetings and also add my input. I would let them know what I can participate in and not compromise my faith. Oh God, yes. This is the best zakat. In fact, supporting this website, this falls in the category of fi sabilillah. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the best gift that any Muslim can give another person is knowledge of Allah. And if you guys support this website, this is an ongoing charity, because any Muslim that listens to my lectures and learns anything, you will get the reward, because if it weren't for your donations, this website wouldn't even be here and I wouldn't be able to teach. And you will get the reward of me. You'll get Dr. Jamali's reward, Sheikh Morsi's reward, Kareem Abu Zayd's reward for writing this book. You get all of our rewards, because if it were not for you supporting to keep us on the internet, we wouldn't be able to do this. So yes, this is zakat. This is the best zakat. Subhanallah. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, the class at 9 o'clock. Yes, I'm going to continue with the sacred bonds. We're going to talk about that feminism. Oh, you did? The sister here says she really liked yesterday's class. Oh, you did? I told you the book is good. Make sure you guys buy that book. Let me put the book back up here again. This is the book. Wait a minute. This is the book right here. Yeah, it's called Sacred Bonds. It's only $13. You can buy it at Amazon. Yeah, today we're going to continue speaking about feminism and how feminism has destroyed, how feminism is destroying Islam. Because just like we even have Arabic people who patronize the Kafir. Oh, yeah. We got Arabic people who have allegiance to Darwin and Sigmund Freud. Just like we have Arabic people who do that, I hate to inform you guys, this feminism movement, it emerged from out of the Arabic lands. Oh, yeah. The Arabic women, they're the ones that created this so-called feminism movement. I guess they don't want to wear hijab and they want to be men. I don't know. And it's destroying our families, because they got women want to be like men and not be home. They want to go out and work like a man and travel the world and be airline stewardess and all that. This idiot is nuking me like crazy. Hold on. This idiot. I guess he can't get back in here because we banned him. So now he's nuking. Look at this. I feel it too. Wait a minute. Let me cut this. Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to cover, speak about feminism again tonight. All right. Any other questions or comments? Okay. I'm going to log out for now. I'll see you guys in an hour or so. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka.